Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is Brian from Flow Candy here with a breakdown of OLAPLEX. We're going to dive in today. Got a lot for you from all of the different takeaways from their just stats and whatnot. Take a look at their website. I broke down their entire funnel. Who I ordered from them. My wife has already been using the shampoo and has given me some feedback on that too. And we even have an earnings report from Q3 that we'll take a look at and see what we can pull out of there. But yeah, there's a lot to learn from this brand. It's a it's huge. So they're doing, they're valued at around $15 billion. They're doing around $400 to $500 million a year in revenue. And they have just been growing and growing. And I think one really interesting thing about this is that they have a ton of patents on the ingredients of their different hair products and things like that. I think they hold over 100 patents, and so they have really kind of cornered this market of hair repair. So that's really what it is. It's not just a regular shampoo, right? It's a hair repair product. Um, and so these patents really kind of help them solidify that zone of like this is the only place that you can get this chemical or bonding agent or whatever they call it to actually do the repair process on your hair. So that's a pretty interesting portion of it. So they have a lot of word verbiage around treating, making sure that if you have concerns with your hair, that's another thing that I pulled out in the funnel as well. Is like instead of shopping by a collection or something like that, or another thing you'll see really frequently with hair care products would be like hair type. Rather this is more about concern and what you're actually trying to do with your hair. So you can see like the dryness and sorry, I have to move my thing to see oiliness, dryness, frizz, dull gray, damage, curl support, etc. So there's a lot of different things there that you can kind of pull out and see what that's a more unique way of actually thinking about what do you need from this product. Um, so yeah, another thing I really love here is they're all numbered, all of these products. So you got number three, so 3, 4, and 5 are their core products. That's actually what I purchased for my wife was the this let me see, I think it's yeah, the Hello Healthy Hair Starter Kit. So it's number 3, number 4, and number 5, kind of the core three in the middle of the process. What I really like about this from a product standpoint and design or product, strategy is that, it leaves you room on both sides to add upsells. So it's like, okay, well, you start here in the middle with 3, 4, and 5 because that's really the core product and what you need. But there's also 6, 7, 8, and there's also 2, 1, and even 0 on the other side. And so as people get into the product suite, they can start to add on other sides, and it's naturally going to create, as people become more and more, uh, uh, essentially super fans of the brand, they're going to be able to buy more, more products and increase the average order that they're placing each time, and ultimately the LTV. So this is another thing they're consistently bundling too, so you can get the 3, 4, 5, or you can jump in immediately and do something like the hair repair treatment, which has 0, 3, 4, 5, and 8. It looks like, and they're also moving into other. I know there's lash and brow serums now as well, and moisturizers. So they're kind of taking these unique products angles that they have and are switching it out into a multiple different realms of skincare as well. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting product. Very unique in its way that it's positioned as a little bit more clinical. You'll see that with the branding as well. A lot of it feels and even sounds in a way um, like a medicine or a supplement or something like that, rather than a hair product. And so I think they also reflect that in the way that they talk about the product. It's a lot of restoring, or talking about how it will help you and the benefits of using this over other products. Um, So yeah, the next thing we will jump into is going to be the actual numbers on some of this stuff. But I would like to mention, and we'll come back to this later, that their social strategy is huge. They are all over. They're one of the like largest. Um, they have a huge. Excuse me, not one of the largest, but they have a huge number of TikToks and things like that. Hashtag OLAPLEX. They run kind of challenges and things that get a lot of attention. And so this has been a big distribution because there's a lot of before and after that you can go do with the stuff. Um, you can look at somebody's hair, and here's the before and here's the after, and it's very visible what the actual effect of the product is. So that's a pretty cool thing that I think they've really turned to their advantage, and they use a lot of what their customers are saying as the way to actually encourage purchase, as everyone should be doing. Um, and just, they do have a secondary pro site. You'll see back here, they ask, here, are you a professional stylist? There is a pro.olaplex.com specifically for stylists. I will say that we'll talk more and more about this later, but I will say that this is a little bit more, this is, I think, where some of their opportunity lies, uh, just in terms of how they're actually handling the relationship with their stylists. And I think it not only is something that will help them, but it also is a is kind of reflected in their report, in their annual report, that this is an area that they need to focus on. So let's get into the numbers and just kind of see what's going on with the website in the background. So they're looking at around 1,100 visits, or 1.1 million visits per month. Most of the traffic is coming from the U.S., but there is a good chunk, almost 40%, coming from international. They have a ton of backlinks. Their top pages are not surprising. Their advertising, as far as Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and things like that, are huge. They have a massive amount of followers on Instagram, and then over here on the technology side, they are using every app that you would think that they would be. So they're on Shopify, um, Google Analytics. They're on Klaviyo for email. Let's see what else stands out here. It pulled out that they're using HubSpot. I'm not totally sure that that's true. It might be more for their, I would guess, if anything, it's for customer relationships with their wholesalers or their stylists, if they're doing anything there. Um, Using Yotpo for review management, ShipStation for shipping. They're using Reversion, and Recharge runs their subscription. So kind of a pretty standard tech stack here. Nothing specific. I mean, dynamic yield is something that I don't see a ton of people using all the time at this stage, but I think that they're probably, well, based on the personalization I've seen, it's not really delivering that much anyway. So I no comment. All right, so let's look at the keyword analysis as well. So I broke this out into branded keywords as well as non-branded keywords. So what you'll see is, obviously they own everything as far as OLAPLEX goes. They have a lot of different products as well. So I think this is a good at, driving a decent amount of traffic as far as the different types of products that they might want to get from, or, that people are looking for specifically. But then where they're computing as far as the non-branded search goes is really in this repair area. So, it's hair repair treatment, bond building, hair mask for damage, repairing hair oil, anti-frizz conditioner. So these are this is probably where they're competing the most in trying to draw, the actual discovery of the product. So that's been I think that there's a lot to be said of, like, what can your brand actually own outside of just like the name of the product? What is the unique identifier that you're going to actually have in the marketplace that allows you to have some of these more long tail keywords as a priority for you? So yeah, I think that's you can come through here and take a look. You'll have obviously access to all of these different links and whatnot. So if there's anything specific or you want to dive into the numbers, feel free. Let's actually look at the flow of the funnel itself. So let's see. Let's zoom out here. I got the whole funnel for you. First off, let's take a look. Here's some of the TikTok stuff I was mentioning. OLAPLEX is one of the challenges they did where it's like you show before and then an after of your hair, and this is just one of many kind of TikTok trends that they're jumping on, where a lot of people are taking these products and kind of showing the before and after effect. And I think when it comes to a product like this, where you're really trying to show like a clinical improvement, I thought before and after pictures are always going to be one of those things that end up giving you the most kind of resonance with your customer. And so the more you can really directly show them, hey, this is exactly what it's going to look like when you use this product, or this is exactly how it helps you, you're just going to get a better result at the end of the day, and you're going to convert more. Let's see what else. So I also pulled out some so you can see what their Google Shopping and sponsored ads look like as well. You got a few here. And then here are some examples of their ads that they're running on Facebook. I will say, as soon as I opted in and started looking through stuff, I was getting OLAPLEX ads all over the place constantly. And they do run a lot of offers in their ads. It's less of, surprisingly, I didn't see as much repair in a lot of this stuff. It's interesting that the language shifts away from the actual benefit to the product and is more top of the funnel, right? It's like, hey, what can you immediately gain right now from this, just to kind of pique the interest, such as a complete hair care routine, or the other thing of it might be another way that you could interpret this strategy is that they're actually going more bottom of funnel, where they are retargeting people that have already been on their site, so therefore they assume some sort of knowledge of like why OLAPLEX is different, and so therefore they focus more on the actual offer, because there's some assumed knowledge there of like what OLAPLEX is because you've been to the site, and so therefore it's more about, hey, let's actually get let's get you to get a complete hair routine, or let's talk about the limited edition this, or don't miss out on that, or bundle and save, so pretty interesting stuff in their ads. So let's go on from there. It takes you directly to the home page, but before we get to the home page, I want to talk about the retail stuff. So retail is a huge part of their strategy. They are in so many different retail suppliers: Target, Walmart, Ulta, and Sephora in the U.S. Boots is in the UK, and then Mecca Brands, which is in I think New Zealand and Australia, or maybe just New Zealand. Not positive there. But a lot of their sales are driven through retail, and then secondarily, what you could also consider kind of a retail play as well as the professional salons. And so this is where their wholesale goes. Everyone's been to a place where they cut your hair and they have the products and that kind of thing. So we kind of understand where that comes from. But there's a really unique relationship here that I think for a long time they have kind of been building on, but apparently is actually is slowing down a bit. We'll look at the numbers in a minute here when we go over um, the actual earnings report from Q3. But this is a large area where they've been driving purchases there, and then people are reselling it through the salons that they own. And as I mentioned before, there's an OLAPLEX Pro site that to be honest, so I signed up obviously through OLAPLEX, and then I also signed up to the opt-in here on the OLAPLEX Pro site with different email addresses, and I did not get any sort of flow that really targeted me as a professional. So even, here's a site. Even if you go and sign up and do the professional, I still was getting the same welcome email and everything that you would for OLAPLEX, a consumer, right? And this is a huge missed opportunity in my opinion for them, because this is something we see really really regularly when brands work with studios like or salons or any sort of professional that can then resell your products. I said studios because we've done this multiple times for like yoga products and sports fitness products and things like that, where they sell to gyms or a yoga studio or something like that. The reality is that your customer profile is completely different here, right? Because they aren't the end user of the product anymore. Their goal is obviously to help their customers. But the language needs to shift. The language needs to become what they can do for their customers or how it's going to improve their business rather than the direct benefits of the products themselves. Um, there's a little bit of that here, educational resources, stay prepared outside of the salon with the traveling kit. I mean, I don't know if that's totally, the best way to do it, but I love the shampoo. I started using Olaplex on certain clients that really needed the extra. So, they are touching on some of this stuff, but in my opinion, a lot of it needs to be more focused on how it's going to improve their business. 'Cause that's the goal here, right? They want to sell more product, get people coming back, talk about the incredible results, get people reviewing them after, recommending this great product and stuff like that. And that's what you need to lead with as Olaplex when you're trying to sell to salons. And so first off, that's a missed opportunity on the site itself, but also I didn't get any follow-up emails that kind of pushed me into some sort of flow to make sure I finished signing up for wholesale, or why, as a salon person that I'm interested in, is why I should be, pursuing this as a product to carry in my salon. It seems like even though I signed up on the pro site, I wasn't even taken into a separate flow for their actual for getting people to finish that sign up. So, I didn't dive deeper into trying to get an Olaplex Pro account. Obviously they usually go through some sort of qualification step because there's usually deals on the, login for pricing so that, you know, there's like a gated, buying quantity and get the products. Um, but so I didn't push any further to actually find out what that was, but so they might have some flows in the background, but this is a big opportunity that the opt-in, if somebody's on the Pro Olaplex site, you need to be pushed into trying to create an actual profile, and the benefits need to be communicated in a way that's valuable to me as a business owner or a stylist, rather than as just like a consumer of the product itself. So that was one big takeaway that I had here, was just like the wholesale could be done better, or at least they need to change the way that you opt in on this site so that you're getting put into the wholesale flows if there are wholesale flows. Um, so yeah, another thing we'll talk about is they have their whole branded store on Amazon as well. Um, like you can get pretty much every product they have there. They've got all of it, laid out in a very similar way to their website. Looks great. Pretty much they own their entire product suite there. Um, and so let's get over to the actual homepage. So we talked about there are kind of three main paths I look at from the homepage. One of them is obviously the shop by concern, which we already talked about, oiliness, dryness, etc. And then you can kind of see they offer up products that you can use for, specific things that you need. So repair and strengthen damaged hair. So here you go. Here's all the repair products that you might need. The next would be by category, or they have all the different types of collections here. So treat and maintain, wash and condition, styling, anti-frizz, lash and brow, etc. And then this is what one of those pages looks like as well. I actually really like how this. These shifted. Ah, yes. Okay, here we go. Let's move these right in. Creating it on the fly. So yeah, I went through that. So this is treat and maintain. So if you come and do treat and maintain, that's what this looks like. That makes a little bit more sense. And then up here, shop by concern. There we go. So this is I love this page, just in terms of like how they have really laid it out for you. Of like, this is the one product, or if you want to do two, or if you want to do all of it, here are the three different levels. It kind of reminds me of like SaaS pricing, where you have, the kind of usual one in the middle, and then the downgrade and the upsell. So love this page and how they've kind of presented all that information. Yeah, so the collection page there. So that, just a reminder, that was from the concern. The concern goes into this 1, 2, 3, and the collection more so just shows you everything that you could use for, treating and maintaining, or whatever it is that you're looking for. All right. So all those lead to obviously the product page. We'll get to that in a second. Next is a quiz. So we can go through the quiz real quick. Personalized quiz, texture of your hair, hair type, what services do you regularly visit a salon for, do you use heating tools, what's your top hair concern? That's mine. It's just a flat limp. I'd love to fix that. and then how much time do I want to spend on my hair routine for a weekly hair self-care, and then obviously they ask for your information. So at the end of the quiz, they send you to this quiz results page with my customized hair routine. And, to be fair, this is kind of like lackluster in my opinion. I think there's a lot better way to do this. They I think a lot of brands use quizzes as a way to just recommend products, which is fine. It is kind of the 80-20 at the end of the day of having a quiz, like, here you go, here are all the products. But I think especially for a brand like Olaplex that is, there's a lot of education required in their products, or there's an opportunity for education. I think shifting their focus a little bit more to how they can actually use these products to guide their customers or educate their customers, and then have the product as like a secondary piece to the education would be a lot better here. And it's just repeated in the results flow as well. It's just like, hey, I have flat limb hair. Great. That was honestly the answer to one question. So it's like, and we can see that because that's the one I have checked there. So they're really just pulling one piece of information out from the personalization, and then are saying, here's your results. So not a lot of logic going on back there. I have seen some really, really incredible things in the past, of people willing to go the extra mile and create cool flows around their actual quiz results. One of those being Awe Inspired. They're a jewelry brand that we worked with, and they have so many different results for their flows based on all the different inputs that you can put there. So I would go check them out if you want a good example of that. So all of those lead you to a product page. I would say pretty standard CRO designed, uh, angles. The original bond builder strength starts inside, and then pushing to reviews and other products as well. So then right now, I'm not sure if this is always the case, but it does seem like they give away a lot of free gifts. And so in the cart, you're actually adding free gifts from the slide out there. It came with 3 gifts itself. This is what the first email, their abandoned cart flow looks like. So really quickly going to discounts too. So they are, or a bundle complimentary shipping plus a sample size of number 3. And then from here, I do have the abandoned checkout email, which I will add to this. So when you go and take a look at it, you'll be able to see it. And then when you go and actually place the order, you end up with refer a friend. So this comes up to do a quick, get a free full-size dry shampoo if you sign up and send it to your friends. You get a custom code there, and then shipping emails were pretty standard as well, laying out the items that you have. It's coming to where you are, and then hit package arrived. So pretty good there. And then lastly, so once it did arrive, I have a video that you guys can go and watch of actually what it looked like unboxing it and what's in there and everything. Will say it was pretty standard, not anything special as far as branding around it. There was an extra card in the box of just kind of like information and a QR code, but really nothing that special. The post-purchase emails, I think this is another opportunity for them. As even since I've received the product, I haven't gotten a lot of what I would consider true post-purchase emails. It seems like I'm still just getting campaigns. There's nothing really specifically. There was no education. There was no, prepping your hair. We're getting ready. This is kind of, if you want it to be clinical, the way that you should frame this in a way is like, hey, this is a big deal. Like, you're about to change your hair. So like, here's how you prep for it. Here's what to make sure that you do it right. Here's what you should consider. And there's none of that kind of education stuff being kind of spoon fed to you. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for them to be able to do that. And then let's see here. So we'll jump into these individually. So on this, you'll find a link to all the 2024 emails. that we put into a whimsical board for you, and then a link to the full Q3 2024 earnings report, which we're going to talk about here in just a second. But real fast. So I did mention, in the pre-purchase flow, these are the emails that I got in the first couple days. There's we'll talk about this later, but I kind of really like these like a coupon above the email itself. It's almost like it kind of reminds me of like a magazine. But I think this is pretty cool and a great way to kind of feature that the discount early on. And repeating, here's your welcome 15. But then just, this kind of shows you just how many emails they're sending. I'm getting a lot of emails in here of different things. There's a ton of stuff going on. It's maybe a little bit overkill in my opinion. Obviously I don't have the stats in front of me, so that's really a question for actually looking at the numbers and figuring out what's working. But it just kind of shows me that there is not a ton of like detailed segmentation going on as to what is happening, and why I might want to be segmented out, or why you might want to use something a little bit more intelligent to tell, okay, does this person need all of these campaigns, while you can still see that I'm still in these flows. We save these just for you, last chance to finish what you started, last chance, final reminder, and it's like, okay, well, I got a lot of last chances and final reminders. So, there's kind of a bunch of stuff going in through here that I'm not sure if it's how thought out the connection between the campaigns and the flows actually are. Not to mention, this is also where I signed up for a secondary account for the wholesale, and there's nothing in here that really stands out to me as wholesale either. Okay, all right, so that's the funnel. Let's go ahead and take a look at these emails. So like I said, a lot of the colors, the way that it feels, it toes the line right between that like clinical feeling with still like a little feminine touch. The colors are softer. There's a lot of pinks and this is February as well, so it also has like Valentine's Day in there. There's a lot of kind of lighter tones, a lot of focus on the products. Obviously their packaging is really simple, and so it's not as there's not too much to work with. But I think they do a good job of pulling stuff out, following a pattern. It's obvious that their strategy here is a lot more of going after quantity rather than like going full crazy designs or anything like that. So they're definitely following a design style or a design system, like as we kind of recommend at Float Candy, of having very similar blocks that you can repeat and recustomize. So a lot of these probably don't take a ton of time to actually put together, which is great considering they're sending, a lot per month. So one other thing, a couple things I also noticed in here, I showed you before the coupons, but they continue doing that. It seems like whenever they have a sale going on, they include this at the top, which I think is pretty cool. I like this. I think for certain brands, it'll work for sure. And then one other thing I think where they could improve is they have a lot of product images. A lot of here are the products, here are the products, here are the bundles, here are the bundles. And then they have a lot of kind of lifestyle model shots. I would change this in a way to focus more on the actual results of the products themselves rather than like pictures of the products. I saw one in here. Let me see if I can find it again, where it was like a drawing of split ends and the changes that go in your hair if you use this product. And that's, in my opinion, really what a lot of this should be based on. There should be a ton of educational, like that's kind of getting there where you're talking about the different problems, but there needs to be more educational stuff as to like the benefits of these products, or direct results, like show me exactly what's happening with someone's hair, which they definitely have side by sides of some of the. Here's a before and after of their eyebrow serum, but yeah, bond building serum. And then there's another one up here of somebody. Here's a hair comparison side by side. If I were running this, I would suggest that this is exactly what needs to be happening most of the time. If how do you put more and more side by side photos are going to get people to really identify with the changes that they want to see in their own hair. And that's really what you're trying to do. You're trying to get an emotional response as to, okay, I want that as well. My hair looks like the picture on the left right now. This is what I need done, buying it. So yeah, come through here, take a look at these emails, use them for inspiration, see if you can pull anything else out and share it with me as well. If there's something you like about them, I'd love to hear. But yeah, let's get into the meaty stuff. Let's talk about their earnings report now. Um, so Q3, 2024 earnings. So some big takeaways. Sometimes these things are a little bit hard to get into and like really read and figure out. So there's kind of a few main points that I pulled out that I'll share with you guys. So first and foremost, sales are declining. They have actually changed their year over year. They're down compared, and they are now revising their projections for the year based on lower performance. Um, and a lot of that. Let me see if I can find that slide. So I think a lot of that, so they're down 3.6% overall compared to third quarter 2023. Specialty retail, so that would be like Sephora and all these different places, down 1.3%, and professional is down 12.6%. So this is a huge, this is a loss. Obviously, there's something wrong with how they're building their relationships or retaining the customers of their professional sites and that kind of thing, which kind of brings me back to like missing the flow here for the wholesalers of there's what is actually happening in the background here, which kind of makes me think there's a problem if it's down 12% from last year. So there's some problems there, but direct to consumer is up 6.8%, which makes me think that a lot of maybe even professionals and things like that are moving their purchases to online, which means that there needs to be a little bit more focus there. So things that we've talked about, such as the flows for wholesalers or segmentation and the type of campaigns, or getting better at using personalization and the data that OLAPLEX actually has from the quiz, actually enriching the way that you communicate, I think is going to be really helpful for them. Um, so it's interesting because they have improved their gross profit margin. So just like what they're spending in creating the product is getting more efficient, right? But they are drastically spending more on SG&A, which it's like a OPEX, right? And so they are 36.4 million up to 43 million versus last year this past quarter, and so spending over 6 million more, which means they're probably trying to push more on marketing and stuff like that. They're probably taking on more people to push the growth that they're looking for. But at the moment, they are not seeing those results. And so they are probably in the hot seat a little bit right now, I would guess, with their with the team. And so there's a lot for them to do this year, because they've revised from 435 to 463 million in net sales, to what did we see up here? Revised 405. So a good 30 million less than they predicted to make, which is not typically something I think investors like to see. So there's some work I think that needs to be done as far as how they are, how they're actually working on their how they're actually building in the background and moving the company forward. Obviously, the direct to consumer side is becoming a bigger part of it, and so I'm sure we'll probably see some more updates and movements towards that in 2025. And apparently, they have a new strategy to re-engage with their. Let me see, what was the wording here? Develop a long-term roadmap and future vision, and they're expected to share details on the strategic plan in early 2025. So I think that's something we can look forward to see what they're going to do to kind of pivot all this and maybe get it back in the driver's seat and have some positive numbers come 2025. So yeah, that is OLAPLEX. You all have access to all of these different documents that I've shared with you. They're all in the download. And so hope you enjoyed this one. Please let me know either here or on LinkedIn what you thought. If you have any questions, if you want to know more, I'm happy to chat about it. Hope you have a great day. See ya.